Hi there, students. A factor, a parameter, and a variable. What are the differences between these? Well, firstly, a factor. A factor is something that influences a situation. It's one of the things that gives rise to an end result. Um, this is a factor that contributes to the result. So having good grammar is one factor in speaking English, but there are other factors like vocabulary and the way that you speak, your accent, and these are all different factors. So a factor is one thing, one circumstance, one skill that contributes to a full result. Yeah, it's something that contributes to getting your result. So the amount of finance available for a project is one factor in whether it will be successful or not. Now we have the words a parameter and a variable. And for me, both of these are much more scientific words and much more mathematical words. Let's see, a parameter is something that is fixed within a system. Yeah, it defines the relationship. So a parameter would be something that you keep constant during an experiment or a calculation. Yeah. Okay, so, and then a variable is something that changes or can change during your experiment. The parameters talk about the relationships between the variables. Now let me get a little bit mathematical for a second. So if we have the equation x equals 2y, x and y are variables. These are numbers that can change. They could be any number. But 2y, that is your parameter. This is the conditions in this particular situation. So if you do an experiment, you keep all of the parameters constant. You don't change the circumstances. Yeah, and then maybe you repeat the experiment, but you change the parameters, and you could change the variables. Okay, so let's see. Notice a variable is something that you can measure. It's something that you can measure in the real world, whereas a parameter, you may or may not be able to measure them. So the parameter is the relationship between the variables, or the way that you put things together. So maybe you have two variables, but you can use different parameters to describe them. Yeah, so a parameter, it connects different things that vary. Yeah, it's the numbers in a specific situation or for a specific relationship. So I think parameters are one factor in things, and variables are also another factor. Okay, so I think parameters and variables are factors. Yeah, but a factor is just a much more general word. So, for example, if you want to draw a circle, one of the parameters would be the size of the circle. It's one of the things you establish before you draw your circle. So the parameters are like the rules. Yeah. The rules to do something. So The parameters of a project are exactly what you need to do, exactly how much money you've got to spend, exactly how much time you have available. These are the fixed ideas. And then there are variables. You could the price of something could be variable. In a project, the things that are unknown are variables. So let's see, formality, factor, 5 in formality, use anywhere. A parameter, it's a bit scientific. I would say 6 in formality, use anywhere. And a variable, 5 in formality, use anywhere. So factor comes from Latin factor, a doer, a performer. Yeah, from facio, to I do or I make. Yeah, a parameter, this comes from ancient Greek para, beside, and metron, a measure. So a measure beside. Yeah, this is a side measure. And then finally your variable comes from Latin variare, to change, from various, different. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Factor, variable, and parameter.